If you constantly betray your needs, silence your voice, or water yourself down just to keep someone, you are not being loving. You are abandoning yourself. And no matter how feminine, loyal, or godly you try to be, you will never truly feel like a high value woman until you stop bleeding just to be loved.
أحسب أن الدين بعيد عن حب وحياة وبهجرك للدين ستحيا تعشق ما.
Assalamu alaikum, my Limitless queens. You're all welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, my name is Zeesalv, but you can call me Z for short. Here we talk about all things faith, self-care, self-love, confidence, and personal growth, while embracing a balanced Muslimah lifestyle that is pleasing to Allah. If that resonates with you, please subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Today, I'm speaking to the woman who is tired of being everything to everyone while being nothing to herself. We need to talk. You can't rise into the woman Allah designed you to be while constantly abandoning her in the name of love. You were never created to shrink yourself for love, but somewhere along the way, you were taught that the more you lose yourself, the more you will be loved. That is not love, sis. That is performance. It is you believing that the real you isn't enough, so you bend, you accommodate, you smile when you are breaking, you stay silent when your soul is screaming, you say yes when everything inside of you is begging you to say no. You call it loyalty, but really, it is fear. Fear that if you are fully yourself, they will leave. But see, the moment you choose you, anything or anyone that leaves was never meant to be part of your elevation. I once became a stranger to myself just to be loved. Let me tell you a story. There was a time I stayed in a connection where I kept convincing myself, maybe if I just pray harder, be softer, be more patient, it will see me. I turned down opportunities. I dressed in ways that didn't reflect my identity. I even changed how I expressed my faith just to keep the peace. But the truth is, every time I ignored what I needed to hold on to him, I felt smaller. Not because it was bad, but because I was silently screaming, see me, value me, choose me. And in doing so, I stopped choosing myself. Then one day I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the girl looking back at me. That was the day I realized it's not even the one asking me to change. I am doing it because deep down, I believe the real me is unworthy of love. That belief was the problem, not him, not them. It is me. You can be loyal without losing yourself. Islam teaches us to be loyal, to give, to love, to sacrifice, but it also teaches us not to oppress our own souls. Allah never asks you to trade your identity for love. He never asks you to ignore your intuition to avoid conflict. He created you with a fitra, a natural inner guidance system. When something feels off, it is usually is. But self-abandonment tells you to ignore that voice because you are scared to lose him or her or the friendship. When something feels off, it usually is. But self-abandonment tells you to ignore that voice because you are scared to lose him or her or the friendship or the potential. But listen to me. If love requires you to disappear, it was never love. It was just an attachment. And attachment is not the same as value. High value isn't just looks, it is boundaries. We talk a lot about being a high value woman, and often it is reduced to aesthetics, soft voice, elegant hijab, perfect skincare, chic wardrobe, smelling like oud and rose. That is beautiful, and you deserve that. But let me be real with you. A high value woman doesn't just look good, she knows her worth, and more importantly, she protects it. That means she sets boundaries even if it costs her approval. She walks away from anything that confuses her soul. She doesn't beg to be chosen. She becomes so old, being chosen becomes a bonus, not a requirement. And that is what makes her unforgettable. Now, what does self-abandonment actually look like? Let me rename it so you can recognize it. Apologizing for crying or being too sensitive. Always being the peacemaker even when it hurts you. Changing your goals, dreams, or doing for someone else's comfort. Over-explaining your words. Feeling guilty for needing space, rest, or clarity. Sounds familiar? That is not femininity. That is survival. And we weren't created just to survive. We're created to thrive with honor. And you can't heal what you keep justifying. Sometimes the reason we keep abandoning ourselves is because we justify it. It's just going through a lot. Maybe I'm just too much. At least I'm not alone. And I don't want to lose him over something this small. It is just temporary. But sis, how many just temporaries are you going to tolerate before realizing your soul has been quietly dying under the weight of your silence? Sis, if it hurts your soul, it's not small. If it robs your peace, it is not love. If it costs your identity, it is not a face. It is a red flag. Islam doesn't require self-abandonment. Culture does. There's a difference between Islam and the cultural pressure to be silent, to be perfect, to be soft, no matter what. Our faith honors a woman's voice. Khadija radiallahu anha was a successful woman with boundaries. Aisha radiallahu anha was intelligent, outspoken, and deeply loved. They didn't abandon themselves to be loved. They were loved because they stood in truth. Don't confuse toxic expectation with divine instruction. Now, how to reclaim yourself step by step. Now that you see it, here is how you can start choosing yourself again. 1. Pause before you please. Ask, is this love or is this fear of rejection? 2. Pray for the strength to walk in truth. Make dua. Say, Ya Allah, give me a love that never requires me to betray myself. 3. Journal your pattern. Right. When do I feel most drained? What do I shrink around? What would I say if I wasn't scared to lose them? 4. Say no without explaining. No is a full sentence, and boundaries are a form of self-respect, not rejection. And 5. Return to your mirror. Look at yourself and whisper, I will never abandon you again. I see you, I love you, and I choose you. You are the woman you've been waiting for. If no one has told you this lately, you don't need to perform. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to earn love by losing yourself. You are the woman Allah created with intention. And when you walk in that truth without shrinking, begging, or apologizing, you become unstoppable. That is what being a high value woman is. Not the title, not the trends, but the quiet power of choosing yourself without fear. You are no longer available for love that asks you to abandon who you are. From now on, you love from your overflow, not your exhaustion. You love from your wholeness, not desperation. You love and you stay loyal to you. Finally, Queen, if this message hits your soul, don't keep it to yourself alone. Send it to your sister who needs to hear this today, and comment down below. I choose myself. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, because this journey of elevation has only just begun. Until next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace out.
أحسب أن الدين بعيد عن حب وحياة وبها